Hello everyone, this morning we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a top 5, actually it's a top 4 of true crime's most despicable dads in the last 5 years. These are just cases that I've covered on my channel that immediately spring to mind. Let me know in the comments your most despicable dad in true crime. These are mine, what are yours? The reason why the title is labelled top 5 is that I'm gonna do a bonus despicable dad, and he's a little bit different because it's longer than 5 years ago, but he is just so terrifying. I could not do a most despicable dads video without including this guy. So without further ado, let's get into it. In at number 4 is a very recent case, and this has not gone to trial yet, so obviously this guy is innocent until proven guilty, except he did it. It's obvious he did it. This is Chad Dorman. On June 15th of this year, Chad shot to death his 3 sons. The sons were aged 7, 4 and 3. According to court documents, the 7-year-old tried to escape and he was shot down as he was running. Chad's wife was also shot in the hand trying to defend her sons. Chad's stepdaughter escaped, having had the gun pointed at her, and she ran to get help. When cops arrived, Chad was sitting calmly on his doorstep. He was arrested without incident. He's now claiming he's not guilty. He did it. Guys, his wife is a witness. His stepdaughter's a witness. He's going to put them through as much pain as possible. What a despicable human being Chad Dorman is. Body cam was released yesterday from a cop's eye view of Chad being read his charges and going into court. Yeah, he's a little crybaby, but he's got a lot to cry about. He's crying for himself, not for his family, in my opinion. We don't know much about his story. I'm sure that will all come out in the next few months. In at number 3, this is a case that many of you will know. This is from August 2018, so it's just made it into this countdown. This, of course, is Chris Watts. On August 13th, 2018, it's almost the 5-year mark. Chris strangled his pregnant wife, Shanann, and he smothered his 2 little daughters, Bella and Cece. What is dreadful about this case is what he did with the bodies. He took Shanann's dead body in the back of his truck to Survey 319, which was one of the oil sites that Chris worked at, and he buried her in a shallow grave. She gave birth to little baby Nico while she was buried underground. The 2 little girls, Bella and Cece, were smothered at the job site. Apparently he took them alive and he put their dead bodies in oil tanks. Absolutely dreadful. This guy was apparently a model dad. What happened to Chris Watts? Well, he fell in love with someone else. And instead of just doing the normal thing, you know, getting a divorce, he chose to murder his family instead. Chris isn't the most despicable dad, though, that I can think of, even though what he did with the bodies was horrendous. It only took him 2 days to confess, having failed a polygraph dismally. He confessed to killing Shanann and putting the girls' bodies in the oil tanks, and he pled guilty. So at least he didn't put people through months and months, even years, leading up to trial. Not so for our number 2. Number 2 is Anthony Talt. This is another family murderer. This guy, in December 2019, murdered his wife Megan, his 13-year-old son Alec, 11-year-old Tyler, 4-year-old Zoe, and Breezy, the family dog. At least Chris Watts let the little wiener dog Dieter live, but not so Anthony Talt. He was in financial dire straits. Yes, he was stressed. He was getting investigated for fraud in his physical therapy business. But committing the ultimate crime and destroying his entire family seemed to be preferable to Anthony than coming clean and telling his wife and kids that their wonderful life in the Disney town of Celebration, Florida, was going to come to an end. No, instead, he couldn't face that. Instead, he murdered them all. And what is so horrible about this case is he lived for at least 2 weeks with the dead bodies. I don't know, guys. That's just very, very weird. When eventually cops got into the house, he claimed that he couldn't recall the events of the murders. But then he did confess under interrogation, but he claimed that that confession had been made under duress. I've seen that interrogation. There was no duress. They were very kind to him, actually. In 2022, Anthony Talt was sentenced to life in prison, and crying on the stand didn't affect the jury's decision. A very, very bad actor. Very bad actor. What a strange man. Even more despicable is our number one. And this is Adam Montgomery. Just yesterday, Adam was sentenced to 30 years or so for weapons charges, being a career criminal. But his trial for the murder of his daughter, 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery, is happening in November of this year. But he spoke at his sentencing yesterday. Listen to this.
The only consideration that I ask of you this morning is for you not to consider anything as it relates to the case regarding my daughter Harmony. I did not kill my daughter Harmony, and I look forward to my upcoming trial to refute those offensive claims.
So, of course, the judge is not going to take into account the fact that he murdered Harmony. He's claiming he didn't. He's claiming he's looking forward to his trial. What he's accused of by his wife, Kayla, is striking Harmony in the face and head 3 to 4 times in a flurry of blows with a close fist on at least 3 separate occasions on December 7th, 2019. What was Harmony doing that was so bad that resulted in her dad repeatedly punching her in the head? Well, they were living out of the car. They'd been evicted out of their apartment in Manchester, New Hampshire, just a month before. And Harmony was just in a state of shock, and she wasn't telling them when she wanted to go to the bathroom, and Adam couldn't stand this. So he became enraged. It's not the first time he's become enraged with Harmony. He's actually been in jail on child abuse charges already. The thing that really, really disgusts me, and the arrest affidavit was very, very, very graphic, that he moved Harmony's body around in bags. And then it seems that eventually he drove to the coast, and it seems that he may have disposed of Harmony's remains in water somewhere. We don't know. Her body hasn't been found. The trial hasn't happened yet. Adam is claiming that he's innocent, and yes, of course, legally he's innocent till proven guilty, but the cops have so much evidence against him. I think this is going to be a slam dunk for the prosecution. I can't see Adam getting away with this. He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, and good riddance to him is all I can say. And now for our bonus dad. As I said in the intro, I could not do the most despicable dads in true crime without including this horror show. This is Joseph Fritzl. And the horrific details emerged in 2008 when a woman named Elizabeth Fritzl told police that she'd been held captive for 24 years by her father, Joseph. He'd assaulted, abused, and just completely violated his daughter for all of those years. What was horrendous about this is that he'd had her imprisoned in his basement. She'd never even left the house. The abuse resulted in the birth of 7 children. She had 7 children by her father, 3 of whom remained in captivity with their mother until this story broke and cops swarmed the house and found them. 1 died shortly after birth and was cremated by Joseph Fritzl. The other 3, oddly, were brought up by Fritzl and his wife upstairs, having been reportedly found by Fritzl as the children of Elizabeth. And I don't know whether the wife, Rosemary, was just abused herself, had blinkers on, I've no idea. Joseph Fritzl was arrested on suspicion of rape, false imprisonment, manslaughter by negligence, and incest. In March 2009, he pled guilty to all counts and was sentenced to life in prison. And in my opinion, this guy is absolutely terrifying. It's probably the worst case that I've heard of, but is he the worst case though? Because there's so many despicable dads. There's also despicable mothers in the world, and perhaps I'll do a video about them in the future. Let me know if you like this type of video. Do you want me to do more top 5s or top 10s in true crime? Let me know. Leave a like on the video if you want me to do this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys. Cassie, come on.